Actress Gina Carano, best known for portraying Cara Dune on The Mandalorian, was fired on Wednesday, February 10th after she reshared a controversial post that equated the current political situation in America with the Holocaust. The post in question compared the persecution and violence that Jewish people were subject to in Nazi Germany to the supposed modern censorship of conservatives with political views deviating from those espoused by the mainstream media. While her post was unlikely intended to be taken as overtly anti-Semitic, many have taken offense to the comparison between the alleged injustices of the so-called cancel culture and the horrific abuse and torture the Jewish people had to endure during World War II. Lucasfilm, whose parent company is Disney, issued a statement confirming Carano is no longer employed by the company. They also said there are currently no plans to work with her in the future. Her social media posts denigrating people based on their cultural and religious identities are abhorrent and unacceptable, their statement concluded. The last straw. Everybody says stupid things now and again. It's part of being human. But it's not like Carano's offending comments were a one-off. For months, she'd been making controversial posts on her social media accounts, mocking pronouns of trans and non-binary people, calling into question the legitimacy of the 2020 election, referring to face masks as symbols of tyrannical control, and questioning the effectiveness and necessity of COVID-19 lockdowns. The Daily Beast reported that Gina was dropped by her publicist firm IDPR last fall over similar concerns about her social media activities. On the flip side of the coin, everyone is entitled to their own opinions, even if they're considered offensive, uncouth, or against the grain. That's the First Amendment. It grants everyone freedom of speech and expression, regardless of who they are and what they believe. Granted, that doesn't mean the Constitution will defend you from the consequences of stepping on people's toes and rubbing people the wrong way. While Carano and her supporters might be crying foul over her firing, seeing it as some kind of symbolic metaphor for the persecutions conservatives see themselves as having, the truth is that Disney, Lucasfilm, and her publicist firm are well within their rights to drop her from their lineup. If it were the U.S. government shutting her down for something she said online, that would be one thing, but privately held companies have the freedom to fire whomever they please. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, be sure to give it a like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. And keep watching to see why some people have accused Disney of having double standards when it comes to their liberal and conservative performers. She will be missed. Her personal views and politics aside, Carano's character Cara Dune was a fan favorite. Before trying her hand out as an actor, Carano was an accomplished mixed martial arts fighter, and you can tell. Saying that she's a strong, independent woman is putting it lightly. She made her debut on The Mandalorian as a mercenary in the 4th episode of the 1st season. By the end of the 2nd season, the former rebel-allied shock trooper had not only become one of Din Djarin's closest companions, but she also earned herself the rank of New Republic Marshal. The producers of the series seemed to be especially invested in her character and had planned on developing her more fully. Most recently, they revealed she was born and raised on Alderaan, the same planet Princess Leia hailed from. The Hollywood Reporter recently quoted several sources close to Lucasfilm who seemed to indicate the production company was working on a new spin-off series with Gina as the star, but they abandoned that idea after she tweeted baseless conspiratorial messages back in November. After the news broke about her firing, Hasbro announced they would likewise stop producing action figures and memorabilia featuring her image. A long time coming. Calls for Carano's termination have been circling around the web since September, with the hashtag #FireGinaCarano being the rallying call. Some might not understand the situation fully. If she was fired for making one controversial statement, that would be one thing. And to be honest, if she lost her job under those circumstances, we probably would be looking at a discrimination case. But her firing wasn't for one thoughtless, insensitive post. Rather, Carano had repeatedly established a routine of making false statements and laying out sensational claims despite the repeated advice from her employers to do otherwise. If you post something divisive on your own private Instagram, that's one thing. But when you're a big Hollywood star, your words are more likely to be tied to your employer or the show or film you're connected to. That's why Disney is taking this so seriously. An inside source familiar with Lucasfilm told The Hollywood Reporter the company had been looking for a reason to fire her for months anyway. So when she started making her Nazi comments, that proved to be the straw that broke the camel's back. Some sources have reported her likes of posts in support of the January 6th Capitol insurrection also played a part in her termination. Her future was looking bright. Until this whole debacle, Carano's career path was looking promising. She got her first big break in 2011 when she was cast by Steven Soderbergh in his action thriller Haywire. After working on blockbuster projects like Deadpool and Fast and Furious 6, she was noticed by Lucasfilm and invited to join The Mandalorian in 2018. Multiple Mando spin-offs are currently in development under the oversight of executive producers Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. It was rumored Carano was going to be taking an active role in the upcoming Rangers of the New Republic series, but those plans seem to be permanently shelved. It's not surprising that a Star Wars TV show would be well received by fans, and The Mandalorian has been something like a cultural phenomenon since its debut in 2019. It was the role Carano had been waiting for. Her supporters are furious. Multiple petitions have been organized on change.org urging Disney and Lucasfilm to reinstate Carano. As of February 16th, over 50,000 people have signed petitions signaling their support for the 38-year-old actress. But this isn't the first time Disney has cut ties with one of their associates over polarizing comments on social media. In 2018, Disney fired James Gunn as director of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 after right-wing agitators dug up old, offensive tweets he made years ago. Less than a year later, the filmmaker was reinstated. So who knows, maybe Disney will change their mind if enough people demand her return to the series. Disney's accused of having double standards. Former first son Donald Trump Jr. weighed in on the situation, accusing Disney of having double standards. He called the studio sexist and not very woke for not reprimanding the Mandalorian star Pedro Pascal for a tweet he posted 2 years ago comparing the U.S. to Nazi Germany. Trump Jr. also shared a post from far-right extremist blog The Daily Caller, accusing Disney of being hypocritical for shooting their live-action Mulan adaptation in communist China. Pedro did in fact make a post in 2018 comparing Nazi Germany's concentration camps with the immigrant detention centers run by ICE on American soil. Not surprising, many found this comparison offensive in its own way. After all, 6 million Jews lost their lives between 1941 and 45. No matter how subpar the living conditions are in American detention centers, it's still an enormous leap to equate these facilities to the hellish dens of death and destruction that actively slaughtered men, women, and children for years. What do you think about the situation with Gina Carano? Do you think she really deserved to get the boot, or do you think Disney and Lucasfilm are overreacting? Let us know what you think in the comments section below. And before you go, make sure you give this video a like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Tap the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.